In today's video, I want to talk about feelings and emotions and how so many people think that feelings and emotions make you weak and that you shouldn't express yourself, especially if you're a man. That if you are vulnerable and that if you speak about your feelings, that you're going to be seen as weak, you're going to be seen as less than a man. And that's not true. It actually takes so much courage to express yourself. And I also want to say that I also get the idea that a lot of people think that when you share more, you're not in control anymore. That when you express yourself, that you show that you care too much. People think that to care is not cool. You see it in the dating world and relationships all the time, where people want to be the person who cares less. They don't want to show that they really care, because if they don't show that they care, then they have this idea that they're the one that's more in control, that they have the power. That if you let the other person know that you care, that you then do not have the frame anymore. You do not have the power or control, because you have let this person know how you feel, and it's just playing games and it's just inauthentic. And you're never going to have meaningful relationships by doing that and by depriving yourself of speaking about how you really feel. It's empowering to speak about your feelings. And it's amazing and beautiful to be able to connect with that part of yourself, because emotions make us who we are. Emotions are our connection to everything. Feeling is what it is to be alive. And so without that, it's like many people are walking around, but they're dead inside. There's no feeling. The other day, I was taking a walk in the morning and I got emotional just thinking about how far I've come, where I am now. Even sitting here right now making this video represents how far I've come. And because I do feel, because I am in touch with myself, because I recognize that the energy in emotions and in feelings is what drives us in life. It's what connects us in relationships. It's the foundation of love and empathy and understanding, that everything operates within the energy of emotions and feelings. And so for me, vulnerability and sensitivity and being transparent and speaking about these things, expressing myself, that is my edge. That is something that I try to lean into as much as I can, because I recognize that there's so much potency and power there. And so I want people to know that feelings and emotions are not something to push away. They're not something to run away from or to hide from or to label as bad or good, right or wrong. They're something to be experienced. And then once they're experienced, there's something that you can then try to understand, that you can recognize emotional patterns. You can see if a feeling, you can see whether or not your interpretation of a feeling is true or not. Because oftentimes our ideas of what a feeling means comes from something or someone else, and it doesn't come from us. And that's why we have resistance to certain feelings when they come up, and we push them away because we believe that if I feel anxious, that's not good. Something's wrong with me. I need to fix this. And that's not true. And so the so-called negative or bad experience of anxiety isn't actually the anxiety, it's your resistance to it. It's your interpretation, your ideas, and the meaning that you're applying to what you think it means to be anxious that actually gives you that feeling that you don't like. We're scared to feel because we're scared to get hurt. We don't want to let someone in. We don't want to trust someone and then have them break that trust. And the fact that we shared so much with them and then they betrayed us, the pain that we feel, the hurt that we experience. There are feelings that we don't want to feel. But by denying ourselves certain feelings, we deny ourselves the experience of being a human being. We deny ourselves of all the beauty in the pain and in the hurt and who we become because of that. That so much of the growth and the transformation and the wisdom comes from the intensity of the pain that we experience in this life. That the things that I didn't want to go through, the things that I didn't want to happen, that I had so much resistance to. I didn't want to let go of a person. The darkness that I sat in when I had some of my lowest moments, and all I wanted to do is not feel those things. It was finally when I felt those things that I freed myself, that I unlocked a part of myself that is partially the truest version of me. That there is so much growth, there is so much insight, there was so much potential that was in the shadows that I had to shed light on. And there's so much beauty in it, but you can only know it after you go through it. That's why they say that the only way out is through. That we have to keep going, and we can't let life harden us. We can't let life block us off from all the beauty because of the pain that we've experienced in the past. That there's a quote that goes, "Better to live with a wounded heart than a closed one." Because when we close ourselves off to certain feelings, we unknowingly close ourselves off to so much more within ourselves, in relationships, in love, outside of ourselves, in friendships. Everything that we experience becomes a dimmed version of what it would be if we were fully open to it. That when we're not open to the fullness of every experience, we never experience that thing for what it actually is.